There is a bill before the legislature that would remove woody biomass from eligibility for the state's alternative portfolio standard. Some environmentalists say promoting the burning of woody biomass will harm the environment. Not so, says Chris Egan, the executive director of the Massachusetts Forest Alliance, who says modern wood heat systems limit emissions and help the forests. He joined me in studio recently to explain.
So the bill would remove wood from the alternative portfolio standard, which is a little bit confusing, but what this is a renewable heating program. So if you choose to switch from fossil fuels to renewable heat, and one of the systems that's approved for the APS, then you can earn alternative energy credits as you use your heat, your fuel. And those energy credits can then be sold to utilities, and that helps defray the cost of your fuel going forward. So it's an incentive for people to switch to renewable heat.
Okay, but the bill removes the wood portion of it?
That's right.
Okay, obviously that has you concerned.
It does. We think there's pretty good science behind wood being in the alternative portfolio standard. In fact, the state commissioned a study to examine whether it should or shouldn't, and the study came down in favor of including it. And so it has a positive climate change benefit, and also has benefits for our forest and for the local economy as well.
Some people would say that it doesn't have a benefit, for the environment, saying that it's not environmentally friendly. What's your response to that?
Well, the science says differently. So there's sort of two major attacks on wood heat. One is particulates, and one is carbon emissions. So in terms of particulates, these systems, the only systems that qualify for the APS are these modern wood heating systems. So when people think of wood heat, they think of a wood stove. But in fact, wood stoves don't qualify for the APS. Pellet stoves don't qualify. Fireplace inserts, outdoor wood boilers, none of those qualify. The only systems that qualify are these newer modern heating systems that most people don't know exist.
And explain what they are for us.
Yeah, they're essentially furnace replacements. So they would go in your basement, just like you have a furnace. They run on wood pellets or dried wood chips. They're automatically fed, so unlike a wood stove, you don't have to load them. You have a storage area in your basement or a silo outside that automatically feeds them. All you need to do is turn the thermostat up and it will respond. They typically have a thermal storage tank so they can heat your hot water, and that allows them to respond very quickly to changes in temperature, unlike a wood stove, which it's hard to get the right temperature necessarily, or adjust it up and down.
And this is not a problem as far as emissions, carbon dioxide emissions?
Well, in terms of carbon emissions, the state commissioned a study to decide whether wood should be part of the APS. It's called the Manomet study. And what it found was that their model shows a carbon debt initially, meaning wood puts out a little more carbon than fossil fuels, but when you examine forest regrowth, there's then a dividend. So the carbon debt gets repaid, and then there's a dividend going forward. So you're benefiting compared to fossil fuels.
But are you replacing the trees as fast as you're using as burning the wood? And I think that was one of the issues that had come up.
Yeah, so the way forestry works is you don't go in and cut down a large section of trees. Most of the forest management work is done according to a 10-year forest management plan created by a licensed forester. And that plan sets out goals. You might want to improve wildlife habitat, protect water quality. And you might want to increase the value of the standing timber so that you can grow trees that can be turned into lumber or wood flooring or furniture. And the issue is you're going and they're doing a thinning essentially, so that they're freeing up the growth of other trees. So it's not a matter of one tree replaces another tree. It's a matter of we go in and we do some thinnings, and that speeds up the growth of the remaining trees because they have more access to resources, to sunlight, to soil resources, to water, etc. So the science is pretty clear on this. It's not a one-to-one ratio. You look at it on a landscape scale, and you get consistent regrowth. And we're actually only removing a small amount of trees. So if you look at the annual growth of trees in Massachusetts, we're growing 5 times more wood than is being removed with harvesting.
And tell us a little bit how this all plays into the forest economy.
The advantage of the forest economy is it provides jobs in rural areas of Massachusetts where jobs can sometimes be scarce, even though when the economy is good. And these are decent paying jobs. They can't be exported to China or Mexico. So they're an important part of the rural economy. It also supports keeping forests as forests, which is a goal of ours. We want to continue to maintain our forest land. And if you own forests, and there are a lot of families out there that own 20 acres, 50 acres, 100 acres of forest, if you can earn a little bit of income, enough to pay the taxes on it by doing occasional harvesting every 15 to 20 years, that you're more likely to keep that as forest land than sell it for development.
Tell us a little bit about what you're hearing from your members of the Alliance about this bill in particular.
They're concerned because it would have an impact. It would have an impact on forest landowners. It would have an impact on the foresters, on timber harvesters, and on forest products companies. So, it would have a dangerous and damaging economic impact in these rural areas. But it also, would help prevent making a positive difference for climate change, which is what the science shows.
Right. So, and obviously you're in favor of any sort of moves, to protect the environment.
Yeah, we work to protect forests, to keep forests as forests. We want them to be working forests. And Harvard University has a wildlands and woodlands project which encourages forest preservation. And they want to keep 90% as working forests, as woodlands, and 10% as wildlands, untouched. And so, we're supportive of those goals.
And is there any other legislation that you'd like to see statewide that would help you in this matter?
Well, anything that would support, we've signed on to support a number of bills led by other organizations, including, major environmental groups. So, we support things that help preserve forests. We support things that keep our forests from development, that help encourage this sector of the economy, which is an important sector, particularly in rural areas. So there are a number of bills we're looking at, we have endorsed or we're looking at endorsing as we go forward.
If you could explain a little bit, about what happens, using this type of setup for heat, as far as particulates go.
Right, so let me throw some numbers at you. An older wood stove from the 1980s emits about 4.5 pounds of particulates per million BTUs of heat generated. And that's not one load, that's multiple loads, obviously. New wood stoves that meet the 2020 standards that the EPA has set, they emit about 0.5 pound of particulates. So that's a 90% decrease per million BTUs of heat generated. The only systems that qualify for the APS are these modern pellet and chip boilers. A pellet system out of the box emits 0.03 pounds per million BTUs. So to go from 4.5 to half down to 0.03, 3/100ths of a pound, you can see that attacking it on particulates is kind of a strange thing. It's comparable to fossil fuel systems in terms of particulate emissions. And in fact, we've seen studies that show very positive particulate emissions results. The American Lung Association has a State of the Air report. Their 2019 report says all 5 counties in central and western Mass, Berkshire, Hampden, Hampshire, Franklin, and Worcester, they all received an A grade for particulates, and they all were named among the cleanest counties in the entire country for particulate emissions. And those are the areas where wood heat is most prevalent.